We are in a season called personal development. Today we're going to get into a topic called fear, as to why we fear, how fear can hinder our growth as we are going through our journey as to become whatever it is that we're trying to become. When I was a kid, my dad helped me learn how to ride a bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every of course every time when you fall, he was there to guess help push to keep getting up. um but without that push, there's probably a good chance that I might have not I didn't want to get back on, because that fall was rough.
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
And so it just, that kind of brings me back a little bit from the last episode. We talked about community, and how important it is to have people with you. I mean, that's a small example, but you need those people to help you push through those fears, because we there's so many reasons. I would say reasons as to why we could feel that maybe that we're not good enough or obligated to continue to move forward with whatever it is, that the direction that we're going.
Mm-hmm.
What some of the things that I guess for me that grabs my attention as to why that would keep me from doing things would be trauma, just negativity, just negativity, bad conversation that has nothing to do with anything that doesn't help you.
Right.
Um,
Now, your negativity, is it negative thoughts that are coming from you, or are you referencing negativity from other people?
well, it definitely starts with, of course, you, because I mean we're our worst critics anyway.
Right.
Um, because I know personally, like I'll be the first to tell me, no, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, but then of course you do have those people around you that you surround yourself with, that who are there to actually help push you. They can give you that insight, or that little
Mm-hmm.
you got this, you can do it, whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to you whether you can push through it. um it makes me think too. You know how, well, might get a little religious, whatever. But you know how you have your good sides and you got your bad side.
Mm-hmm.
How how I just mentioned how about like trauma and negativity and stuff like that is considered the evil, or Christianity we would say Satan, right? Or good is where we are thinking positive, we are making actions, we are being disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, as God. So I feel like it's very important for us to one, bring him in it, just because when we don't have, let's just, for example, when we don't have uh those people right then and there at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, for example, Justin, if you was at work or something, you was real busy, I needed you at that moment, but I couldn't get a hold of you, who do I go to? You know what I'm saying? I should be able, there's always somewhere you can go, which is, of course, would be God. If you are, of course, in religious whatever, you go to a higher power. But
Right.
that's why it's so important to have that, because Satan is always pushing, or the evil, or the devil, whatever, is always pushing those traits, or those things that would initially keep you from moving forward, or even thinking of growth. uh, I've heard a lot of things of, we get stuck in this like comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the world or Satan wants to keep us there in this little bubble.
Right.
But on the other hand, God's telling you, I got so much for you.
Right.
What
Trust me.
we just trust me. We need to go. I need you to go here. But of course, it's always a constant battle between good and evil. So it's more like, where do you want where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? And is finding ways to get past those I guess those negative thoughts, the trauma, how do you how what are some ways that, I guess, for you guys, how you can get past like, I guess, just to say a traumatic something that happened in your past, but it's just you just holding on to it because either you haven't forgived, or you're just, just holding some type of grudge of what happened or who did what. What are some things that maybe you guys might be like? What are some things you can think of that might help you to, kind of move on?
I guess where I'm kind of lost is how this kind of tie into like fear.
What do you mean?
Well-
I mean, I guess I just need you to kind of explain, like.
Okay, well, I'll just speak from personal reasons. Like, even when, if it comes to, like, just, a relationship, my personal trauma with, my relationship with growing up with my mom was, difficult. So when it comes to me going into a relationship, I might think that I got it, and certain things come up that, I guess, remind you. It's like, do I really want to?
Okay.
You have those
So
thoughts and
your
those
past experiences basically kind of shape the fears that you have moving forward.
right.
Okay.
That's how I was trying to. I was kind of throwing in there how.
So how do you overcome that? Is the question.
How Satan and the evil kind of
I
always
got you.
throwing that at you, even though when you're trying to do good, but
Yeah.
he's like, oh nah, I need you to come over here.
Yeah, man, I don't know, cause see, for me, I don't hold on to. I guess I got that personality type. Like I don't really be holding on. Like it's a lot of people I could be holding on a lot of anger to,
Right.
but I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't hold on to stuff. I don't let that stuff shape me. Like I've been abused quite a bit in my life, and I still have conversations with those people today. But I never. Now, if it has shaped me, it didn't shape me to the point where I feel like it was fear that kept me from doing something. It may have shaped the way that I view. You know what I'm saying? View people, but I make a conscious effort not to allow that to determine how I walk into a relationship with the next person. How I treat the next person. Y'all get what I'm saying? So let's say I was just beat. You know what I'm saying? Beat pretty bad, right, by my parents, right? I wouldn't say, man, you know what? I got a cousin that'll say something like this. He'll say, either I can let that make me turn. Let me get this right. Either I can allow that to turn me into that type of person, or I can say, man, that's what I don't want to be, right? So I guess I kind of always took it like that, and I know. And listen, disclaimer. I don't know if this is the healthy way of dealing with stuff. Maybe you're supposed to go talk to somebody. I'm just telling you how I have coped with a lot of past trauma. I don't know the answer as to how you can get over it because I just don't hold on to it.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you now. Was there like? Did you just like forgive, or you just like kind of just like that
No.
happened?
I think I believe that no, I don't believe I know I forgive him because if I didn't walk in forgiveness, I would be walking in anger and hatred. So yeah, I know I forgave, but see, the forgiveness wasn't really for them, and I know it sounds so cliche.
No, but no, that that makes sense though, because I mean, in
I know
order
you
for
hear
you
it in a
to,
lot of Tyler Perry movies, man. It ain't for you, baby. It ain't for them, baby. It's for you.
Right.
But that's so
but it's
true,
the
though.
truth,
It is.
man. Like
It is,
I
yeah.
have forgiven to the point where, like, man, it's like, you know what? You still hate me. I know you hate me. I don't hate you, but hey, I can't move on with my wife. I can't move on with my son. I can't move on with my bonus children. I can't move on with anything if I'm still holding on to all of this hatred and pain. You know what I'm saying?
And you never know what that person is going through, why they act the way they act.
Right, and that's
So-
another thing, right? So I look at it like what she was just saying, right, yo. So I was talking to somebody and I was like, yo, this particular person did something to me But I look at them and then I say, you know what? When you think about stuff, you think about yourself, right? Would you really have done any better in their situation? You gotta kind of look at it, because we look at stuff so much like, oh man, I would never. Yeah, you looking at hindsight though,
Right.
because it happened to you. But what if you would have never been exposed
Right.
to, you know what I'm saying, to that situation? You could make the same choices. You could have done the same thing.
Right.
So you take it as a blessing that in a sense that you were exposed, so that you can, quote unquote, stop the generational curse. You know, but I kind of want to bring this back to the fear situation, because I think that's a good place to be. So yes, man, we our past traumas can shape us and cause us to have a lot of fears, some silly fears too when you think about it.
Right.
But it can cause us to have a lot of fears, and what I may consider to be silly may not be silly to that person. It's everything. It's just blown up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, in front of them. And I think that you gotta figure something out. You need to talk to somebody. You need to do something, because you can't live a fulfilled life like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you can live a fulfilled life like, no, I'm not. I'm never going to drive a car. Or I'm never going to ride in a car. No, that's going to be a hard life to live in our day and age.
Right.
By not, you know what I'm saying, not getting in a car.
And saying things like never, I can't, you
Right.
know, things like that. Yeah, our own tongues have so much power that we don't even understand. Oh, and if most people don't understand, like you just, as soon as you start speaking, I can't, or I won't, I'll never. You're already telling yourself you can't do it.
Right. Right.
You haven't even given it a chance yet. I had to learn this, cause like I'm a victim for using my trauma or past experiences as an excuse. I say it as an excuse because that's exactly what it is. It's not like you was saying. It's not you shouldn't. And how do I word this? You shouldn't use it as a crutch to why you can't do something.
Right.
Personally, well, for the years I wasn't really in any type of religious state of mind. Recently, been doing a lot better with that. Personally, for me, I've realized a difference just actually having him on my side versus when I didn't have him. Because now, even when I'm in my own thoughts, I can be like, okay, or if I see something or whatever, like, God, what are you telling me? Instead of being like, oh, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm already going through this. God hates me. I'll never do good in life. Blah blah blah. But it's crazy because a lot of times there's always a lesson in something that traumatic that happens to you, even whether it's you lose your house, lose a car, you get in an accident. Like, it could be something traumatic or something really small, but there's always a lesson there. And
Right.
I've been learning recently that, certain things do happen for a reason. People think sometimes things just happen, which it might be true, but I feel like in some of our actions lead us to certain outcomes. And we start using that as excuses as to why we couldn't do this. But if we take the time to look back at what our traits or what we've been doing past the time, we've been like, well, I'm fearing this because I was doing all this when I could have been doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think we had touched this when we was talking about goals, how we, basically looking in the mirror at yourself, how you was like, looking at the mirror yourself, what you can and what you can't do. But with the fear, I really feel like for me personally, God has helped me to have a more of an open mind versus as soon as something happens, just shut down, just be more open and start asking questions.
Right.
There's always a test in your testimony.
Always. I said the road is crooked before it's straight.
Sure, man.
True.
We I was going to say that we reviewed a movie called Argyle the other day. Not that great of a movie.
Really?
No, yeah, not that great of a movie. It wasn't horrible, but anyway, I hope you remembered this because it was one of the big takeaways from it, man. It was a lighthearted moment, but what he said was actually kind of profound. He said he was climbing the face of a mountain, and he was up, like I think he was like 100, 200 feet up, and he had like 100, 200 feet left to go. And he was like, man, you know what I did? Because she was scared to be on the plane. He was like, man, you know what I did? Instead of looking down at the 100 or 300 feet down, I didn't even look all the way up. He said I focused on the 3 feet of space in front of me, and I worked with that. And that's like a big testament to like overcoming our fears,
Right,
man.
right.
Like focus on
The now.
and what it really is more so like focus on the stuff that you can control.
Right.
If you go crazy about all the things outside of your control, like I said before, you cannot experience life.
Right. Or what could happen, a lot of times we get lost in our own thoughts. Like you throwing up hypothetical situations that may never happen. Like the
man.
probability of you falling off of this may be 1 in 1,000 versus you could never even come across that issue, but you're letting your mind take over.
Yeah.
And with I have a problem with that. I allow my thoughts to get the best of me at times. But you had said something earlier about contentment and complacency. I never looked at that as a form of fear until he mentioned it. I didn't think of it that way. But I can see that as being because I'm so comfortable where I am right now.
You scared of the unknown,
Right.
in a sense, yeah.
And therefore, I'm not looking to progress because I'm so complacent. And because of that unknown, I ain't going to touch that. I'm good right here in this little bubble. What you mean?
For sure.
What
I
you
actually
mean
seen
step
that.
outside the door?
Yeah, I had something. I had seen a post. One of these guys that I follow, his name is Austin Dottis. Like he goes by Dottie or something. But it's a big fitness influencer or whatever. But he had said, forgive yesterday, learn today, and what he say? Embrace tomorrow. He was saying to make peace with yesterday, learn, and then what he say? Hold on, I'm gonna read it. And he said, if you fail, you don't actually fail if you learn. And then he said, change is scary, fear is intimidating, which forces you to grow. And that kind of just tied along with what you were just saying, how when you that fear of moving forward is because you don't know what's on the other side.
Right.
You just know you know what the outcome could be, but the process in between the starting position and the end point is the unknown. That's what I said. People, I would say that's what I will always fear. Like, dang, what all I gotta do.
Well,
But instead of thinking about,
don't always fear that. Don't
That's what
put
I'm
that
saying.
out there.
Right, but fear means false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
again, we thinking that stuff that's going to happen and it's really not going to happen.
Yeah. The likelihood is
Right.
so minute. But like you said, a lot of people need to get grounded. Once you get grounded, a lot of that can help you overcome your thoughts. The negative people around you, the naysayers. Get grounded and watch that. Well, and like I just said about, you said it too, guarding your tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Get grounded, watch your tongue and watch how things change. Watch how just simple, and a lot of people think that, oh, in order to overcome fear, I have to do something so grand. You can do something so small. Let it be so. Some people fear the simple stuff of going out to eat by themselves. Try it.
Yeah.
Some people won't go to a movie by themselves. Try it. You know, do something small. Maybe you just go grab a drink. Don't eat a full meal. Maybe don't do a full meal at first.
Well, I'm glad that you said try it, because that's where I was about to go. It was kind of based off what she was saying, was like it's like not gonna happen, right? But my thinking is it may happen, right? So I say that to say, sometimes the best way to overcome fear is to just do it and get it over with. You know, that's my thought. Like man, I'm gonna drown, right? Swimming, I'm gonna drown. Well, just get in there and let's find out.
Right.
I'm not.
I know what you mean, but that sounds terrible.
I know, man. But I'm saying though, for real, just
Yeah.
jump in and find out if you're going. No, but what you do is you take calculated risk.
Right.
So what that means is, hey, look, I can't swim, and I think if I'm going to swim, I'm going to drown. Somebody will say, no, you're not going to drown, but if you don't learn how to swim, you will drown.
Right.
So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to be there with you. I got somebody else. We're going to go out there together, and we're going to teach you how to swim today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not going to let you drown. If you were
Right.
doing it by yourself, then you would drown, which takes us back to our last episode about
Community.
having a community.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So like y'all see, like we're building a theme here. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's all it will all come into fruition. Hopefully, by the end of it, this is what Dom has been doing. But it makes sense though. You gotta have a community, and sometimes that community is how you're gonna overcome these fears.
Right.
Right.
Like the analogy that you started using in the beginning about riding a bike. Even with that, though you're afraid, do it. You may fall off. You may scrape your knee, but you got back up. And you have the ability to do it again.
Yep.
And get a little bit further than what you did the first time. And then you may fall off again. You get back up.
Yep.
Put a Band-Aid on it. Do it again. You're going to get a little bit further than what you were the first two times.
Right.
And your fear is gonna decrease too.
Right. Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
So you just got to continue to push forward. Don't be so caught up in stuff.
But I know these are those surface level fears though. Like there is so much stuff to fear that like deep anxiety inducing fear,
Right.
like life and death situation, or not even you. You could be talking about like your own kids. You know what I'm saying? Like we could talk about sexual abuse. We could talk about physical abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things that you can if you allow it to fester. You get what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, your quality of life will just be very low.
Right.
You know, I don't know any other way to put it, man. You've gotta somehow conquer your fears.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you know, this kind of goes just along with the community. You know, a lot of times we feel when we get into traumatic situations that we feel that we can't have therapy. I know, like basically in our community, they frown on that for whatever reason, and for the longest time, you know, I've always, you know, had that same mentality. But the older I get, and the more I learn of stuff, it's like why be nervous or scared to tell somebody, you know, just to get something off your chest? Because usually we're so overwhelmed with thoughts and everything like that. Sometimes we just need to get it out. Like I can't like we how you kind of went in deep on well I guess you and I were different when the trauma I'll tell you about my mom for the longest like I held like there was certain things I just held I didn't need to I held this thing had this whole idea of it wasn't even there I was holding our relationship back. My mom well one thing I guess for me that I didn't think of at the beginning was that regardless of how things happen, I know for a fact that she did what she thought was best. Because you only go for what you know.
Right.
So just looking at that, it was more of like I guess for me like an immature thought of me like dang. This whole time, I could have been building. I could have just been building this relationship that was a little sour, versus holding it and I guess being in some ways, fearing the outcome.
Yeah.
Or what would be said after we talked about what happened then, but that was then.
Right.
Like I mean, it's just. I mean, that's a little. I guess I guess mentally just a little deeper. But sometimes we just gotta talk.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Sometimes that's the best way to get rid of fear. Bringing guys, we'll have a new episode for you guys in about 2 weeks. So be ready.